Hi, this is the Animal Intuitive Show. I am Ann Angelo Webb from Intuitive Touch Animal Care, and I'm doing this special broadcast this evening because of a 5-day challenge that I am starting tomorrow, and I wanted this to be a great kickoff this evening to help everybody who's going to be participating in the challenge. This is the Connect with Your Inner Animal Communicator Meditation Challenge that's starting tomorrow. So I wanted to do this as a way to support and encourage those who are participating in this challenge. I'm going to start off with 3 meditation tips. And the first tip is, don't stress about meditating. Many times people have just these preconceived notions about meditating, and they actually psych themselves out and don't meditate because of those preconceived notions. So people tell me they resist meditating because they feel they can't stay in the meditation long enough, or they simply feel like they aren't doing it right. My suggestion for that, as an animal communicator, trying to prepare to communicate with animals, is to not stress about how long you're going to do meditation. Just go into it saying, if I do this for 5 minutes, that's great. That's all I need to do. And if you don't even stay in it for 5 minutes, that's okay too. People worry about if they are distracted during the meditation, if that means they're not really meditating. So that is not true. You can't really completely blank out everything. I mean, it's difficult to you can't really have a completely blank mind. That's not really what meditation is. Meditation is more about just being focused on something. So as an animal communicator, my goal is always to completely be focused on the animal who I am communicating with. And there will be distractions. There's going to be noises, just different things are going to go on that are going to distract you. People in the environment, your own thoughts may distract you. And what I suggest people do when that happens is to simply say to yourself, or to that distraction actually more so, thank you, but you can go now. And that often helps to just take a break for a second and let that distraction go and not get hung up on it. And then just continue going on with your meditation that you're doing. So I would also say, basically what you're doing is you're approaching this as if. So if you feel like, okay, I don't really know exactly what this is supposed to look like, I'm just going to go into it and say, I'm doing meditation. So you might call that the as if approach. So just kind of act like you're doing it, and you'll be doing it, I assure you. If you find that you're getting pulled back, you keep getting distractions, just be aware of the fact that oftentimes when we try to make positive changes in our lives, the old tries to keep us back. It's just sort of an interesting phenomenon. And you can call that whatever it is, whatever you think might be causing that. It tends to be the case that you're actually taking positive steps, that you are actually making progress when the old tries to kind of suck you back in. So don't give in to discouragement. Don't get into telling yourself, I can't do this. There's no point in trying. Every time I do this, I get distracted. Those types of things, again, you just say, thank you, you can go now. Because that's just the old, or the negativity, wanting to pull you back into where you were instead of going forward. So just don't doubt your ability to overcome that. You will get there. And those distractions will bother you less and less as you practice, as time goes on, which is why I set this up as a 5-day challenge, because that way people can see the progress that they're making. So meditation tip number 2, just remember it takes time to form a new habit. And that's really all you're doing. All you want to do here is to start a new habit of meditating on a regular basis. Research does suggest that it takes about 21 days to form a new habit. So that just tells you if after a few days, you forget to do this one day, or you sit down to meditate and you just keep getting distracted, you get an important phone call and you end up not coming back to it. It's okay, just keep practicing, and as time goes on, it will become habit. And that really is the best thing for animal communication, is to communicate with animals on a regular basis. Get into the practice of that and it just becomes second nature. And we have some people joining us today. Hi, Michelle, how are you? Thank you for being here. So, sometimes it does take a little bit longer than maybe those exact 21 days. It kind of depends on what what it is that you're trying to accomplish as far as that new habit goes. But I think with meditation, there's so many benefits, it reinforces itself. You're going to want to continue doing it. As you practice, you're going to see the benefits of it, and you'll want to keep doing it. Meditation tip number 3, set yourself up for success. So decide ahead of time that you will have a time of day where you'll have the least number of distractions possible. That might be early morning for some people. It might be getting up 5-10 minutes earlier than you usually do. It might be taking time on your lunch break to go somewhere, go to your car even, somewhere that's private. And that would be a great thing to do actually as a break during the day. Try to avoid any heavy consumptions or right before meditating of caffeine or sugar. Those things can interfere with meditation for kind of obvious reasons. I would also suggest doing something like downloading my free Animal Communication with Isochronic Tones MP3 as a guide to help you meditate. It's great actually to use those with headphones, because then it helps to block out any interference. And if you use that recording repeatedly, you'll begin to just internalize the basic ideas and patterns of what it's like to go into animal communication. And that's going to help you from becoming discouraged when you're trying to communicate with animals, because it's just going to take you right along on that journey into animal communication. You don't have to worry about, okay, what do I need to think about here? What do I need to do? Just kind of let me do that for you. Let me guide you along. And those isochronic tones are great. They really help with that focus. And you can get that right on my Intuitive Touch Animal Care website. It is free once again, so take advantage of that. Also remember, the benefits, as I mentioned, are going to reinforce your practice. One of the biggest benefits of meditation is that your animals are supporting you. They love this. They love that we're trying to get more grounded and centered and connect with them. My animals always come into the room when I'm about to start a distance animal communication consultation. It's amazing. I sit down and I begin to get into that meditative state prior to my call. And they one by one, I have 3 animals, Cheyenne, Gracie, and Tierna, and they come into the room and they'll often sit next to me wherever I'm sitting, or just they'll watch me from across the room. And you can just feel their connection and you see them sort of sink into it. When we get into that meditative state, our animals love that, because that's just the space where they feel good. It's where they feel the most content, the most at peace. So they're encouraging us to do that more and more. So just know that you're benefiting your animal when you do that. When we're centered, when we're grounded, it helps them. It helps them to stay at peace and calm. So some additional motivation would be that, obviously, I'm sure you've heard, meditation is actually good for you in so many ways. There is actually a Forbes magazine article that focused on some scientific studies done by several different universities, Harvard, Johns Hopkins, and it was all about the benefits of meditation, and there are many proven benefits of meditation. Those studies included that long-term meditators had better preserved brains, the non-meditators as they age. It reduces the overactive, distracted, sort of that ungrounded, that monkey brain, as we call it. And that's associated with us being less contented if we're in that space. It actually changes the structure of the brain, which is really interesting. And those parts of the brain that it's affecting, those are actually associated with improvement in psychological well-being. And after only a few days, it improves focus and memory, reduces anxiety, helps in the treatment of addiction, and it also helps kids with stress at school and improves school performance. And other studies focusing more on the health benefits, or added health benefits, included lowered blood pressure, better sleep, and improvement of the immune system. And I can even tell you personally that when I worked with trauma and abuse survivors, in our program we would teach meditation, and my clients would be able to progress quicker when they practice the meditation on a regular basis. It was something that when they were triggered, they would sort of be able to automatically go back to that. As it became a habit, something that they practiced, it's much easier for them to just go back to that. And most of all, have fun with this. See this as a game that you can't really lose at. There's no negative about doing this. It's just something you're challenging yourself to do, and remember that it can only really benefit you and your animals. So just kind of take it lightly. It's just something that you're going to try it for 5 days. Try that challenge for yourself. And if perhaps you're watching this when in the future on YouTube, perhaps, don't worry that there's no active challenge going on. You can just do this on your own, challenge yourself. That being said, for this challenge, winners will be announced Friday. So I have mentioned in some of my posts that 3 people who join this challenge are going to win some private animal communication coaching with me. Those are 30-minute distance private animal communication coaching sessions. And those are going to be a lot of fun. And that is something I rarely do, is to give those away. But I believe strongly in people learning to communicate with animals. I really believe that it enhances our relationship with our own pets. And in addition to that, it tends to sort of have that effect. They call it the butterfly effect. Things that, you start with one relationship improving, and then it just keeps going on and on from there, and influencing other people and other animals. And I just believe strongly in animal communication, that anybody can communicate with animals if they just put the time and energy into it. I love teaching animal communication because it's just always amazing to me to see how quickly people begin to see and state that they know that they are getting this in the first class usually. So I just love to see the progress that people make. So I encourage anybody that loves animals to give it a shot, and don't doubt your ability to do this. I think it's a God-given ability. I think everybody has intuition, and we all know that we have a level of intuition. It's just a matter of honing that skill. I would encourage everybody to join the Animal Communication and Care Facebook group that wants to communicate with animals. And this can be for people that have already been communicating with animals or are beginners with communicating with animals. This is all levels, this group. When I have classes, I have more private groups for people who are in those classes at the time. But this is for everybody to share their experiences, to teach each other, learn from each other. I post on there to try to help people out with communication with animals. And it's just a great community of like-minded animal communicators and animal lovers who want to learn and share from each other. And it isn't even all just about animal communication. It can be about many things, anything to do with animal care. And remember that learning and growth are enhanced when we're part of a community. That's why I set up this challenge, to pull people together, to reinforce and encourage each other, to bring out that God-given ability to communicate with animals. And if you do join that group, we have sort of an interesting thing going on where we have someone who's offered to post some photos of a community of stray cats that they have near them. And actually that person is here viewing the show right now. But you can join that group and see those pictures and give it a shot. Give animal communication a try with those animals and help them out. So that is the Animal Communication and Care Facebook group. If you forget that name, you can go to, right, if you're already on my business page, the Ann Angelo Web Intuitive Touch Animal Care business page, there's a link right there to ask to be invited or join that group. And you can also contact me on Messenger if you're having any issues with that. So I don't know if anybody has any questions, concerns, anything they think that's gonna be coming up for them as they try this challenge. That's what we're here to discuss. And you can always, as I said, join that group. And when you do that, any of those things that are coming up for you, problems that you have struggling, challenges, but also post about successes, because that's what I expect to hear, is people seeing changes happening. So thank you so much for joining the call tonight, and have a wonderful rest of the evening. And I'm excited to hear how the challenge goes for anyone that's joining. Thank you.